Welcome in, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Ruth. If you're new here, for those of you coming back, we have an exciting Nostradamus prophecy that we're going to pull cards on today. So thank you for joining me today, everyone. This is the book by Mario Reading, Nostradamus, The Complete Prophecies for the Future. It was compiled in 2015. And I'll tell you a little bit about how the prophecies are written and how they're divided into a time frame. But first, I want to give everyone a chance to get on here, to come on in. If you are interested in a personal reading, because some of the questions get deleted, go ahead and either put the questions in some sort of code so that we know what you're talking about, or book with me a personal reading. So today I really want to focus on King Charles and Prince William. The British royal family is heavy on a lot of people's minds, and I believe also on the collective consciousness, the collective higher consciousness, because it's truly a time of switching control. And the goal of the divine is to go into the golden age. And the golden age is a period of national sovereignty where nations can make individual choices instead of being chosen to comply with an external set of rules. We've come from the patriarchal age of Pisces. The patriarchal age of Pisces has been kings, masculine leadership, and that was the way source consciousness wanted to explore the age of Pisces for the last 2,000 years. In fact, it's been more like the entire post-Atlantean age, like 5 to 10,000 years. So this age of Pisces was a very control. It was illusion. It was follow the crowd. It was, we're not ascended enough to make our own decisions. Please tell us how to connect to God. Tell us how to rule our nations. It was the liege and the lord. It was the castle and the peasant. And eventually, as the Renaissance hit, as the Renaissance was the art and the Enlightenment, and then the other one was the one where Martin Luther and the Protestant movement. What people began to do, the Reformation, the people began exploring concepts on their own. The republics grew. The French Revolution. Individuality began sparking up and saying, I want to do my own research. I want to do my own investigation. This produced massive ascension qualities for the entire globe, which allowed humanity to begin coming into their own individual sovereign power. So I said all of that to say we're in a time period where I believe intuitively in connecting to some of the information here where the archangels and the ascended masters are trying to get individual nations to come into their own sovereignty. You make your own constitution. You make your own laws, rules, and ways of doing things, and then you can experience life in this new sense of being. Now, I've heard some psychics, they don't agree with the global domination of the WEF, but they also are scared of sovereignty. They're scared of the Trump administration, ultra sovereignty, the tariffs. But from a higher perspective, this is just another way to experience source consciousness and the laws of the universe with even, if we could go so deep as karma and the law of sowing and reaping. It's literally humanity experimenting. And we can't be so judgmental about when a nation makes a decision versus, oh, well, if we lose control, if the royal monarchy dissolves, as is being prophesied here in the prophecies, then we're going to go into a whole nother, out of the frying pan and into the fire. No. This is all about growing and experimenting and learning humanity's true nature. And we're just going into a time period of republics, constitutions, and independence and gold-backed currency. And it's a good time, but it doesn't mean it's going to be perfect. So let's get started. I want to share with you a little bit. I made a a PowerPoint here. And in this PowerPoint, I want to share my screen. I actually went ahead and listed the prophecies of Nostradamus. So first of all, I am going to show you a little bit about him. Okay, here is my live on Wednesday. So let's go ahead now and look at this. Nostradamus lived in France in the 1500s. He was a very learned man. He had a lot of, oh, hi, Shauna. Hi, Ethereal World. Yay. Okay. So Nostradamus lived in France in the 1500s. And he was a very learned man in the classical language. Like, this man is beyond the scholars of today. He was also very learned in metaphor. So there's a disagreement in how he is presenting his information. Does he just kind of intuitively pick up on language and know where we're going? Or did he actually write in code? Did he write in a green language, which I'm not sure that is, but it was a special language that only initiates of the wisdom schools and the mystery schools knew about? Or the question is even arising, did he have a psychic connection to the Akashic records? So yes, Anti-Gravity says, I wonder if Nostradamus really lived in the 1500s. We could definitely ask the cards about that. All of our timelines have been manipulated. It makes me wonder if even he lived at a later time, supposedly confirming some of the prophecies that he made retroactively. Very interesting. Was he so I'm thinking right now of the goddess Hathor, Anti-Gravity. It's sort of like Hathor could dip into different timelines and was an ascended goddess who could do different timelines. You're also making me think of time travel. Yeah, we're going deep fast. Okay, so where did he get his information? Who is he? We could definitely pull some cards on him if you're interested in learning about that. And we're going to get into the prophecies here. He prophesied that King Charles III would rise to the throne in 2022. And I'm going to read you that prophecy. The Church of England would disapprove and try to get him out. I'm not sure if that's happening right now, but there is definitely a reference to the Great Synod, which was the Church of England, would disapprove of King Charles. In about 2022, 2023, King Charles would, before he even comes in, he had lost power of all nations but the British Isles. And I will read that prophecy to you. And then he will abdicate the throne to his son, Prince William. And the monarchy will officially end in 2040, due to something that I really want to pull cards on, possibly even a illegitimate heir that throws everything in a wrench, which I have heard things of that as well in the deep rabbit holes. So let's get started. Bear with me here, and I'll put this up on the screen as well too. He mentioned him by name. He mentioned, let me go ahead and find out if he mentioned him by name or if he actually just said that king of that time period. So the way he prophesies is he puts things into quatrains. I don't know if I can show it to you here, but it's a quatrain, okay? And the compiler of the prophecies, who also helped to interpret them, says that he first began doing it according to the years, but might have established different kinds of quatrains because he was actually afraid of the established church at the time. He was trying to be a little bit cautious and cover himself there. So the quatrains is basically a group of time that he sort of plunked the prophecy into, and it's not exactly year by year. So it's approximate. This date, according to this quatrain, fits into 2022. The abdication of, 2020, let's do first, succession to the UK throne. And the prophecy is in French, but it's also in English here. Through the pretend fury of divine emotion, the wife of the Great One will be badly wronged. Judges wish to condemn such a doctrine. The victim will be sacrificed to the ignorant people. And this was about the great one within this period, that the time period that faced 2022, and the great one was meant to be the king. Nostradamus was a monarchist. He loved the king. He loved the idea of monarchy, and he loved England. That was his land. So he actually paints other nations trying to take over the monarchy in a little bit of a bad light. So this is so cool, because it's like a true psychic does struggle with interpreting things without putting their lens on it. So you can kind of see sometimes his lens, the wife of the great one. And this is this time period in the British Isles. So the wife of the great one will be badly wronged. And it's the great one referring to this quatrain, which is King Charles right now, that comes in. Judges wish to condemn it, and the victim will be sacrificed. So in terms of who is actually king at around this time, is that the future King Charles III and his princess consort, the former Camilla Parker Bowles, will find themselves faced with a constitutional crisis on the death of Charles' mother, Queen Elizabeth II. This crisis will be provoked by the Church of England, which is traditionally headed by the monarch. The Great Synod, motivated by a desire to run its own affairs without interference from the state, will contrive the crisis based on an attack of the couple's civil wedding. So it goes into the whole thing. This is the interpretation of the prediction. But the wife of the great one will be badly wronged. This is Princess Diana. And approximately according to this date, this is the prediction, that legally the attack will be without foundation. So he's still going to come to the throne, but judgment will be found in the couple's favor. But by using the power of the proletariat through the media, the Great Synod will get its way. So the summary that they took from some of this prophecy is that a constitutional crisis occurs on the death of Queen Elizabeth II. Disestablishment of the Church of England, thanks to the civil nature of Charles' second marriage to former Camilla, is a distinct possibility. So the author of this book looked at this badly wronged wife. The victim will be sacrificed to the ignorant people. We know that Princess Diana allegedly, her death might not have even been an accident, allegedly. Okay, so there's definitely an energy here of King Charles coming to the throne with something's amiss, something's wrong, and the universe is not fully settled about him on the throne. The second prophecy is the abdication of Charles III of England, and this is again around 2022, but it's a quatrain, so it's a period of time. Because they disapproved of his divorce, Nostradamus' exact words translated into English, because they disapproved of his divorce, a man who later they considered unworthy, the people will force out the king of the islands. A man will replace him who never expected to be king. So this quatrain, this is the interpretation, comes as no surprise to the British people and has wide implications. The preamble is that Queen Elizabeth II will die at about 2022. Now, this book was compiled in 2015. I don't know the exact death of Queen Elizabeth, but there is suspicion that she died early, and then it was announced. I don't know when she exactly died, because the rabbit holes go deep around that. But about the age of about the year 2022, around the age of 96, Prince Charles will be crowned in her stead and become king of the islands. This is very important here. The implication here is that he is no longer king of other regions of the world over which his mother reigned, including Canada, Australia, New Zealand, etc. These will have in interim become republics. This was compiled in 2015. Prince Charles will be 74 years old in 2022 when he takes over the throne. But the resentments held against him by certain proportions of the British population following his divorce from Diana will persist. So the pressure on him is so great, his age so much against him, that he agrees to abdicate in favor of his eldest son, Prince William. So the people will force out King of the Islands whoever is king around 2022. So no, it does not mention him by name, but it mentions the king of that time period, which would be King Charles. That's the prophecy. King Charles will be forced out, and a man will replace him who never expected to be king. The interpretation here by this man is that it's Prince William. So I hope that clarifies it all. There's still more, but let me read the comments. Okay, goddess, yes, of a certain pantheon. Yes, please. Wow, he was mentioned by name. Okay, so I cleared that up. He wasn't mentioned by name, but his energy was tapped into. It's also rumored that he is converted to Islam, which could be why a lot of people are disapproving of him. The people will force out the King of the Islands. Diana, yes. Yeah, the wife, Diana, you could say, not mentioned by name, but her energy is tapped into in this prophecy. Exactly, that is what's happening. So the media will take him down. Yes, the media, apparently, according to the prophecy, is under the control of the Church of England, whatever that means, if that's even possible. Who comes next? William. So the interpreter of this prophecy is saying William, but the only thing Nostradamus says is a man will replace him who never expected to be king. Yes, this also concurs with the prophecy of Craig Hamilton Parker, nicknamed the New Nostradamus. Could perhaps Harry take the throne? That could be totally unexpected. I also wondered about Prince Harry rather than William. Could it be or an illegitimate child? We're going to get to that child. William expects to be king. Now, from my sources, with a group called Connecting Consciousness, and Simon Parkes has some connection to some, he lives in the UK, he has some connection to the White Hats there. He doesn't talk a lot about it, but he did say something here. He says the White Hats chose to work. The only person they would work with in the royal family was Prince William. Prince William. They said that's the only one they trusted at the time of about a year or two ago, especially when King Charles was coming in. They don't trust King Charles. They do not trust Prince Harry, allegedly, of course, but they will work with Prince William. Whether he continues to receive the support of the White Hats and the support of the Golden Age to come in, or whether it's somebody else, we will find out. So that's in 2022. 2022 also goes, a little side note, because I'm going to come back to 2040 about the predicted end of the monarchy, okay? But let me go through a quick timeline of events throughout the world. There's a vague prophecy also in 2022, and the summary is Nostradamus casts his eye over a great new imperial power, possibly the United States, and compares it with the old imperial power that it eventually took over from Great Britain. His comparison is not complimentary or not approving of the United States, but it does seem that there is a new power coming into focus. That's in 2022. 2023, the new first family. Now remember, this is a quadrant of time that might bleed over. And then 2023 is a new first family. Now get this, the two contenders will unite together. When most unite with Mars, the African leader is fearful and trembles. The dual alliance is separated by the fleet. Then it says, Mars and Scepter are like husband and wife. Under Cancer, there will be a calamitous war. Soon after, a new king will be anointed, who for a long time will appease the earth. To appease the earth means to bring peace and to make basically everybody happy. So in 2023 and 2024, there's alliances being made, but they're a little bit shaky. This is like according to the interpretation. But a new king and a new first family will be anointed, is going to take over the power of the British monarchy. Is this the alliance between the two great powers mentioned in the last quatrain will continue? One will sacrifice the other, leaving only one leader to appease the world. Is this Mr. T? Is this Putin? Is this, I don't think, it's definitely not King Charles in the royal family, but it's definitely in 2022, 2024, a new leader is arising. Take it as it resonates. In 2025 is the Sunni Shiite war. Duh. And they're going to be, apparently, the rift between Sunni and Shiite deepening into war. To me, that's the Israeli conflict and the Iraqi war conflict. Like, to me, that is completely, makes so much sense. And it's sad, but it is apparently right here in 2025 what we're going through. And it could also be Mars, Sun, Venus, Lion. This could even be the Russian conflict, but that's my interpretation. So then it goes into 2027. Between 2028, there's going to be about 10 days of the sun losing 10 days of the sun losing its power. It's going to produce a small famine, and the Philosopher's Stone is going to come back. That was a crazy prophecy we'll have to pull on. So it goes all the way, different prophecies here and there. In 2030, the prediction of an Antichrist will be born. There's also a prediction of a powerful, good African leader that's going to take Africa into, quote, the golden age for Africa. A lot of these leaders are going to be birthed on the eclipses when they happen. So like the African leader is going to be birthed over the eclipse that's over the African nation. And then there's a U.S. presidential election in 2032. A U.S. president finds the weight of office too much for him, succumbs to the strain. He manages to complete only half his term. Okay. And there are still some predictions of different wars, different things. I'm getting to 2040. This is interesting. It's a great storm in 2040. Okay. End of the monarchy in Britain 2040. The young man born to rule Britain, though commended by his dying father, once the father is dead, London will cavil, and the kingdom will be taken back from his son. That's a very clear prophecy for Britain. Let me read that again. The young man born to rule Britain, though commended by his dying father, once the father is dead, London will cavil, and the kingdom will be taken back from his son. So this is the interpretation. Following the succession to the UK throne and the abdication of Charles III of England, this is a particularly different quatrain to call. So it's difficult to understand, they're saying. King William would be around 58 years old by this date. They're assuming it's King William that's at this time frame. But we have to be understanding of energy and psychic interpretation. It picks up on the energy of the king at that time. William would be around 58 years old, would have reigned for close on 18 years. Prince George of Cambridge, heir to the throne. I do not know anything about a Prince George, okay? Would only be 27 years old in 2040, thus a young man born to rule England. Is he the son? Is he the son of Prince William? Nostradamus, however, makes it clear that despite the dying King William, he's assuming King William, the dying King William commending his son to the nation, following the age-old tradition as their new monarch, London, or in this case, the will of the people, won't have it. One is forced to assume, therefore, that Nostradamus is predicting the end of the British monarchy. It still continues. That was one quatrain in 2040. There's another quatrain in 2040 as well, end of the monarchy. So it continues and it says this: the castles of the besieged will be locked. They will fall because of gunpowder. The traitors will be imprisoned alive. Never before have the Saxons been so piteously divided. Now that sounds like an attack. And this As a monarchist himself, Nostradamus does not approve of plots against either kings or the established state or his image. But in line 3 of the traitors carrying their own imprisonment or their own guilt with them confirms this position. It's also a reference to November 5th, 1605, when the royal house had a famous gunpowder plot. So there was a plot using gunpowder. And Guy Fawkes was later burned at the stake. Robert Cashapp and Guy Fawkes, later to Joan of Arc, is one of the 2 most famous bonfire victims in history, volunteered to set off the gunpowder. So it's a reference to an attack against the monarchy. And remember, many times if people tap into a specific event, sometimes spirit brings a past event to give you reference. So I firmly believe that he's catching a past event, the gunpowder event of an attempted takedown of the royal family, and it predicts someone's coming in to attack the royal family. Okay. Again, the next one, 2040, royal blood, end of the monarchy in Britain. This is the 3rd part. Royal blood will be diluted. France will be gagged by the Americans. This is the exact interpretation of his prophecy. France will be gagged by the Americans. Royal blood will be diluted. France will be gagged by the Americans. Some time will need to pass until the memory of all that was said passes away. And basically, this is it. He interprets all the quatrains together, and he's saying Venus was the goddess of love. Okay. Anyway, I'm not fully understanding how he's doing this interpretation, but royal blood will be diluted. Could there have been a birth out of wedlock, throwing the British succession into disarray? This might tie in with France needing to be gagged by the Americans, according to the prophecy, because according to the European Constitution, a bastard child would need to be seen to have exactly the same rights as a child born inside a regularized marriage, something that does not tie in with the British royal protocol. The schism between Britain and France is obviously a deep one if the Americans are required to come in and act as a referee. So I'm just going to leave it there. What Spirit's highlighting to me is I do believe there is allegedly somebody who is a child of King William. It's down the rabbit hole. Somebody's living in either Australia that is different people. I think that one's a hoax, but different people. There's rumors that say he does have a different child, which could come out in a few years that says and actually ends the monarchy or their illusion of power. Anyway, we're just going to leave that there. Let me see what you all have to comment. Okay. Could perhaps Harry take the throne? That would be unexpected. William expects to be king. Prince Harry William. Okay. Marie says, I heard it would be Harry. Interesting. Harry's father is rumored to be the blood of the original Scottish royalty. That would be ironic. Or could it be a woman? Would prefer Catherine to William. Interesting. Really odd theory. I heard on Twitter that Mr. T will somehow be crowned as king. I don't know if that is possible, but that is interesting because at this point, can you ask about the role of the Philosopher's Stone? And if this is true or not, I can. Prince George of Cambridge is the eldest child of Prince William and Catherine, born on July 2nd, 2013, and next in line to the throne after William. King. I saw that King of America. Wow. Okay. Let's pull some cards. Let me get my tea. As with all prophecies, whether in this book, and again, the book is Nostradamus, it starts very early and goes all the way up into 7048. Nostradamus takes his leave. Look at that. This has got to be a time traveler, you all. 20 years after the moon's reign is over, another monarch will take over for 7,000 years when the sun finally takes its leave. This is in 7048. not 20, 48, 70, 48. So it's an amazing book, which will probably pass the test of time. Okay, this is so fun. Okay, let me go back up and get the question about Nostradamus here. We asked about, okay, yeah, let's ask about his relation to the timeline. Did he live in the 1500s? Did Nostradamus live in the 1500s in France? What can you tell us about Nostradamus? I asked to connect to Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel, invite the presence of the divine. We ask for truth and clarity, for it's our best and highest good. And if the energy and intelligence of Nostradamus is desiring to come into this room, to come in and give us information, we invite you in under the protection of Christ consciousness. We are grateful. We are love. We are one. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What can you tell us, Spirit? We invite the presence of the holy angels, ascended ones, the Palladians of the light, the galactics of light, those that are of our best and highest good. As always, in connection with my higher self. Thank you. Interesting. I'm seeing 5 here, which is the 1500s, and then the Fool card. So this is the entrance card. He did make an incarnation and an entrance as a prophet at that time period, but I'm seeing it as he made an entrance into the 15. He actually is a very spiritualized being that sort of popped in, like he descended for a time and a purpose. But he's not necessarily, this is not giving me the energy of the soul actually starting at that time or coming into his awareness. You know how like you grow and in one incarnation you learn maybe how to grow herbs and connect to nature. In the next incarnation, you hear the voice of nature. And then in the next incarnation, you connect to the wind and get information and you start developing your spiritual telepathic gifts. That's not the progression that I see for him. See him as an ascended being, and he popped into the 1500s for such a time as this. Definitely and on a mission, definitely on a human, but definitely on a mission. What can you tell us? Was this time travel or was this a soul star seed-like mission? So we have the Chariot card, which to me is telling me timeline shift. This is my timeline shift card. 5, a conflict, a potential war. We have the Moon card, a lot of corruption being revealed. 6 of Cups, which is past energy. So this is a past event for him, a past drop into time, dropping into time past. He dropped into time past. Tower card. This is telling me some sort of technology, some sort of, I'm not getting Tesla technology, but I'm getting some sort of time zap, time glitch. 4 of Cups, he was offered it by a golden age group of people. 2 of Cups, he came with somebody else. He was working with somebody else in a time of financial balance, and he was off. It was like an offer was made. Who wants to go into the 1500s and provide some stability for the times coming? If I had to make a first stage reading on this, I would say this man has time traveled from a very, very long time in the future. Possibly even 70, 48, as mentioned here. This man, this is a very ascended soul, future humanity, but not future humanity like 2050, 2060. This is a very future human that popped back into time. I believe it is a reincarnation, but it's more than just an incarnation. It's the ability to travel on time from the future. This man has been in crazy golden ages of his future. Okay. I hope that brings a little bit of clarity. That is amazing. Okay, what's the next question? If I miss one of your questions because of the chat, let me know. Okay, can you ask about the role of the Philosopher's Stone? Yes, let's go ahead and ask about that, and then we're going to get into Prince William here. Oh, wait, you have several. Did he have angelic help with his quatrains? Did he have angelic help to help with his quatrains? Let's ask that. Let's ask about how he made this. Okay. We have the blank card. So this is saying to me, we don't have the mental capacity to understand how he did it because it's so future. However, there were several other cards that came up. It was a very strategic way of doing things. This is ascended but earthly. I believe this is the earthly. I'm seeing Akashic records dropping into time and travel. So he I believe future humanity did it based on the spiritual technologies of the angels, of the galactics that came to Earth. So it's an Earth-based technology that is very ascended, which we don't have a mental capacity to understand yet, but that's how they're traveling through time. In fact, I'm being reminded of the show on Amazon, The Librarian. And there's a show, not just the movies, but the show, the TV show, The Librarians. They actually can teleport and they go throughout the earth and they guard sacred artifacts. It's a fun, happy, hilarious, but very powerful show. And they actually have several series in there where they time travel. So that's what it's giving me about and how they use certain artifacts to time travel. So that's kind of what I'm feeling. It is more of an earth-based thing. This is not a star seed. I'm not getting anything from the galaxies. I'm getting more of an earth-based technology from extreme future. And I'm basing that on the fact that he's gone into his prophecies 2085, 2091, 2100, and then he jumps to the 70s, 7048, 7074. Wow. Do you think the librarian storyline might be based on something technology or guardians that actually exist? Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, whether they're humans or whether they're starseeds or whether they're future humans, I don't know. But when I look at the way the world has gone and our potential to actually self-destruct, I can't help but feel there's some sort of protection there. Somebody's definitely helping the earth. I also think the librarians could be the white hats. I got that a lot from the show. I'm like, do these librarians, are they representing the white hats going throughout the world and collecting sacred knowledge, guarding it, collecting sacred artifacts like the Looking Glass or Project Looking Glass or certain kinds of technologies of time travel that they're trying to preserve so that it doesn't fall into the wrong hands and destroy our planet. I wonder if Nostradamus ever sees in his work the fall of this Cabal. Spirit, what does he see? He sees the golden age that's possible. But he only saw glimpses. And what I'm getting, these are the two cards that came up, the Page of Cups and the Sun card. This is saying he only saw glimpses of the golden age. And the reason why I believe is because when he incarnated on the mental scale of his consciousness at the time, his consciousness was limited. His consciousness was limited. Because remember, his books are slanted into the favorableness of the British monarchy all throughout time. We can, okay, so let's go ahead and get into the British throne now. We can definitely get into that. Okay, I wrote down some questions. Has the royal family lost power of its countries except the British Isles? Will Prince William become the next British monarch? We can ask on other people. And then, will a birth out of wedlock end the British monarchy? So those are the 3 questions I have. If you have other questions as we go ahead and put them in. Or the so-called golden age will never get realized in full. There is a potential that if humanity does not grow and we don't grow spiritually, we won't access the golden age. However, I'm definitely going to manifest as much as it is possible. But we as starseeds are here to help bring that in. And we have to be okay with humanity making a choice. Okay, Spirit, I like to tap into the energy of the royal family. I don't like pulling for the royal family. I do not like pulling for the royal family. Don't worry, I'm still going to pull for it. It's just the energy gets really intense. Spirit team of the light, I ask for protection as we tap into the energy of the royal family. Protection, timeline shift. Okay. King Charles. I always keep wanting to call him Prince Charles. King Charles III. King Charles III, and you're throwing cards. What can you tell us about King Charles III right now? He's getting ready to pass away. He's getting ready to go to the other side. Judgment card is the soul moving to the other side, or rapture, in this case, ascension. In his case, it's moving on to the other side, surrender, death, letting go. King Charles is ready to pass away. Spirit, is Prince William the next successor to the throne? What can you tell us about Prince William? Is he the next successor of the throne? 8 of Pentacles, 5 of Cups, Wheel of Fortune. That's the Emperor card. He's coming up as the next successor to the throne, the Emperor card. That's a yes in the center of the card. However, I have to clarify here. They're working on it. They're working on getting him in. That's the plan. But we have some regret. 5 of Cups. I don't think he wants to do this. Destiny, however, in the past energy, this is what's been destined. This is Destiny card, the Wheel of Fortune. I apologize that my card isn't always seen well. Wheel of Fortune. This is that divine turning of events. The Zodiac wheel. This has been programmed from the stars. He's coming in as the Emperor card. The Emperor, the king, the leader. They're working on getting him there, but he regrets it. There's a Queen of Swords energy coming up here for the future energy concerning him. Catherine? 10 of Wands. He does not want this. Prince William does not want this. There's too much manipulation, corruption, sleaziness. There's too much he's going to have to deal with in the British market, and he does not want it. But I think Catherine wants it. And I don't mean wants it as opposed to him. She wants him to take it. So I think she's pressuring him. He doesn't feel he can be his authentic self. And he knows it's going to be very difficult. Okay, so that's the energy of Prince William. However, it does seem to be a divine plan for him to come in. Spirit, what can you tell us about Prince Harry? What's in the cards for him, timeline-wise, according to this current timeline? Prince Harry, the Fool card. This is a new beginning. The Blank card and the Death card. Whew, this is intense. There's something here that we can't see with this Blank card, okay? But he's also had some sort of new beginning or new revelation, something's drastically, I keep hearing the word improved, in his life. And then this is the transformation card. This could be an actual death or an actual transformation for him. But there's something about Prince William that I cannot see. I can't tap into what this is. 10 of Cups, his family. 9 of Cups, his kids. Does he have children? Anyway, yeah, I can't get the energy of that. Will his title be restored? Is this... Okay, let me go back. Please add to your questions if Harry will take the throne or if the person who didn't expect to be king is even a direct descendant of the current royal family. That's a good question. Let's ask that. Something's going on with Prince Harry that I can't quite tap into. I'm sorry, y'all. Something's different there. Maybe it's just something that Spirit doesn't want me to see. Let's ask who is the person not expected to be king? And I'm going to try to do some clairvoyance too with this Spirit to see, is this a direct descendant of the current royal family? Who is this person not expecting to be king? Okay. We have first surrounding us is the Knight of Pentacles, which is a younger energy. Plans. Then we have a Sun card, the Sun, like S-O-N, a page. So this is definitely does seem to be in the royal family, a line, maybe a younger son. I'm just reading the cards right now. The Lovers, this is the people's choice. This is, or a choice being made. There's a lot of energetic conflict around this person. This is the Victory card. He will come in victory. I'm getting an election, but that doesn't happen, does it? And if Charles passes and William is not the successor, what could possibly happen to prevent that from happening? The people, some sort of democracy. Some sort of democracy. Okay, Shauna says you're talking about Prince Harry. Yes. Some sort of democracy, conflict, a son. This could be a son from an illegitimate marriage too. The Lovers card, a choice. I'm not getting it. I am getting it could be Prince Harry, but I'm definitely not getting from that prophecy that it's Prince William. Ace of Swords, the Chariot card, timeline shift, and someone being protected or hidden. There could very well be a son that's hidden that nobody knows about that comes to the throne. I'm just going to leave it there because something's going to drastically shift the course of the British Isles. Someone's being hidden. Something's being hidden. Something's not being told the people. Truth will be revealed. And a younger man is going to pop up, but he does seem to have British blood. That's all I can say to that. Is the current king the original one, and is the original daughter-in-law still on the earth plane? So you're talking about King Charles, correct? Is he the original King Charles? Let's ask that, and then I'll go on to the second part. Is he the original King Charles, meaning there's no actor in place? Is he the original King Charles? And if I got that question incorrect, you can rephrase it again. I know that it's sometimes hard with the chats. You don't want to say anything but I'm pulling on the energy of King Charles. Is he the original King Charles? We do have him connected to the family line. However, we're also getting the Devil card, which is something saying no. No. But we have the energy surrounding it as the Wheel of Fortune. Something changed on the cosmic scale, and the Independent card. Then we have the King here in the future. So the message coming in is yes and no. And I just have to read it the way I see it. Yes and no. He's not the same person that he once was in the past. I think he still has royal blood. He's still 3D connected to them. But it's almost like his handlers have changed. Somebody put him in as king and is controlling him. So the man who originally operated as Prince Charles, who divorced his wife and got a new king and he did things independently and sort of like threw caution to the wind and kind of lived his own royal family life, that man's not there anymore. In the sense of it's not his conscious, it is his consciousness, but it's like that's not the same personality. It's not the same way he does things. It's not the same way he operates. He was given license to operate that way from his crass way of living. The royal family lived that way. They just could do whatever they wanted because they ruled the world. Now he has a handler. Now he has to operate in certain ways. Now there's a group of people pulling his strings. So he's definitely not the same man in the traditional 3D sense, but he is still of the blood. I do believe he's the bloodline. He's the real flesh and blood line from the royal family. Will the next king be a Christian? Will he protect Christianity? That's a great question. So the king after, we got the Tower card falling out. I feel like that's the religious shaking right now of the UK. Is the mixing of energies because of the different religions. It's producing a shaking British Isles. The mixing of religions producing a lot of shaking. A lot of upset, a lot of confusion. Okay, will the next king that succeeds, I don't want those cards. Will the next king that succeeds King Charles be a Christian? Will he support Christianity? Thank you. Okay, the next king coming in is going to produce major change and shifting for the UK. It's going to produce major change. It's going to do a timeline shift for those lands. There is going to be still some blockage of freedom of religion. However, we have the victory card and then the card of being left out in the cold. So there's going to be movement toward unifying the religions that are being suppressed. Does that make sense? Because we're pulling about this movement toward freeing the suppression of religions. The future, 2 of Wands, steps will be taken. The blank card again. So a lot of the UK's future is still up in the air. And then the death card transition. I believe this is saying here, when the monarchy dies, however it dies, whatever time frame it dies, religion will be freed. Freedom of religion in support of all religion, support of Christianity, support of especially conservative, national type support, religious, the Republican kind of, early American, that kind of religion. That's what that vibe. It's almost like the religion of the Church of England, okay, that energetically rules the British Isles. The Church of England was actually the energy that forced out Christianity and sent them to America, allegedly according to the textbooks, okay? So that means there's an aggregate or there's an energetic oppression that says anything having to do with a republic or Christianity that brings national sovereignty, we want you out of the land. And so they fled Europe and they fled these the European countries, the energetic control, to the Americas. But what was controlling and setting that up was the Church of England, which ended up, now I'm not saying if you're in the Church of England it's wrong. I love church. I came from church, okay? And it's all there for a purpose to help us ascend. However, it can produce an energy of control. And then this energy of control was supported by the royal family. Yes. And then the royal family is then involved in the energy overseeing the British Isles and overseeing all the other nations, so that it's difficult for Christianity or freedom of religion or the Republic, national sovereignty to rise up. So it keeps repressing that energy. When you take out the royal family and it crumbles, the energy of control that's trying to rid Christianity out of its morals, you could say, that's going to crumble. The energy of the control is connected to who's leading the country. That's what I'm trying to say. The leaders in the country set the vibe for the country. And so if there's somebody in King Charles' corner that's pulling strings and being like, and has the energy of anti-Christianity, that's going to pervade the entire British Isles. It would even trickle into any country still connected, like the Commonwealth of Nations. But if you can get that monarchy out of office and bring in someone else, it's just the way the spirit realm works. The energy from the cosmos streams in based on who we set up as leaders. Many people think your personal ascension is the only thing that matters. It is true, but we have to be praying for our leaders because they actually are portals to higher consciousness for an entire country. It's sort of like spiritual legal right. And I learned this in the days of church when we worked with principalities and angels and casting out demons, calling in angels. They taught us that it's legal right. Humanity has legal right over the earth, and we can call in the energies we want. And whoever is the leader, they are the first responders, or the angels or the demons will respond directly to the leader, because that's the way spiritual right works on the 3D realm. So the leader of the UK channels in energy. The leader of the United States channels in energy. The leader of Canada channels in energy. And people don't understand how we have to tap into the energy of our leaders, their values, because they're giving a direct portal to higher cosmic energy or to energy from the astral lower plane. So that's how I'm seeing. Spirit's given me this vision of the end of the monarchy is going to definitely be the end of control over religion. It's going to go hand in hand. Okay. Will he be a shill for the dark elite? Yes. So to answer your question, will the next king be a Christian or will he protect Christianity? The next king is going to be a lot more favorable to Christianity than the present king. I do get that. It's definitely going to be steps taken forward to bringing in freedom of religion and crumbling that control. However, I do think he's going to be resisted in that area because the energy is growing. It's also connected to the church aggregate, not the people in the church, but the aggregate or the energetic control. So the UK will be fighting the energy still, and the next king will be coming up and fighting that energy. But will he be a liege for the dark side, a shill for the cabal? Let's see. These are the cards that fell out, and I want to honor them. The moon card. This is the corruption. This is the CABAL, the dark elite. This is the partnership and the agreement card, 2 of Cups, and the magician card. So what I'm getting here is he's going to start negotiating. And I'm hearing the words taking back control. The magician takes control. He uses all the things in his power to take back control. If this is Prince William, this is exactly why Prince William does not want the monarchy. This is exactly why Prince William he knows the fight. He knows the magical powers he's going to need to tap into. And I mean that metaphorically, but also spiritually. He knows what it's going to be like. And he knows he can't just call out an all-out WAR. He knows he has to negotiate. He has to bring this in calmly, quietly, and with the grace and the energy of a magician. He knows how powerful this is. It's almost like the white hats are priming him to do this, y'all. It's almost like there's some spiritual energy, maybe from the mystery schools, that are going to be teaching him and guiding him, like the librarians, to say, if you want to shift the energy of the royal family, if you want to shift the UK, if you want to shift England and Scotland and Wales, if you want to shift, you're going to have to do it with the grace and power of Merlin. You're going to have to carry spiritual energy. You're going to have to be connected to the divine. You're going to have your spirit guides. Now, whether they go that deep, I don't know. But this is the energy I'm getting of somebody who actually the Philosopher's Stone, somebody who's actually overcoming spiritual oppression. And he's going to have to do it. First start off in league with them and then negotiate and break away. And this is for the safety of the country. Will he still have the same handlers? So the energy I'm getting is that he has the handlers of the white hats. And I don't mean like they're controlling him, but they're his counselors, which is one reason why he doesn't want the job. Yeah, the Magician card came up and the Moon card came up. He knows he's going to have attempted handlers from the dark side, and then he does have several counselors from the white hats. Will Native English see their lot improved with the new king? Currently, they are being arrested for tweets up to 3 years. Wow, that's this Tower card that fell out. The card of the energies trying to just the confusion and the grip and the control of trying to gain. It's almost like the aggregate of England is losing its power. And whenever an energetic entity, an intelligent energy loses its power, it begins attacking. It's like kicking and screaming. Spirit, will Native English see their lot improved with the new king? I also want to pull in the timing. Okay. Queen of Pentacles, 9 of Wands. The motherland is struggling. England, I'm seeing the land, I'm seeing the people, the actual structures in England. The motherland is trying desperately to protect itself. The king they currently have is very manipulative and shady. The next king coming in, or this isn't even tied to a king. This is tied, the Chariot card is tied to a divine turning of events because the cosmos has decreed it and the people have decided they want a change. 5 of Pentacles is financial lack or instability. This is the future, but you never end a reading on a 5 because that just means change. Something's changing. So what's changing in the financial area of lack? Knight of Pentacles, this is positive. Steps being taken forward financially. The Empress card, this is abundance and the motherland coming into full bloom. Abundance, this is asset-backed currency. England already has a financial currency in place that's asset-backed. They already have a secret asset-backed white hat system in place, ready to go. And with the new king, he's going to start bringing in step by step, it's not going to be immediate, start bringing in financial stability. It's already secretly in place. Your golden age timeline is already in place. It's almost like the energy of your land needs to catch up. And what's happening right now is the energy of the UK is just going chaotic. It's crumbling. It's like, okay, it's almost like I see, and I saw this in the last poll I did for the UK. When an energy crumbles, it creates a vacuum, and Islam came in. Will I be accepted? Can I come in and fill the void? It's almost, and I saw this over the UK, like one dark entity, an aggregate, or you could even say an actual demonic entity that was controlling the UK, loses its power because, especially with the Queen of England passing. Y'all, I'm going to say something. I do believe there was a strong entity attached to the Queen Elizabeth. I believe when she passed, whatever time that was, I believe that entity had to go back to its astral realm, which could have been the biggest mistake it ever made. Instead of controlling England, it actually attached to a queen so that when that queen died, it had to go back to the astral realm. It lost control. I believe that there are other factors as well that happened with it losing control, but an astral entity lost control when the queen died. And I'm seeing a lizard kind of face. Okay, we're not going to go there because no, we're not going there. Whew. That's very, very, very dark for me to tap into energy. But there was a lizard creature that lost control over the UK. The King of England, the present King of England, King Charles, is now there, but he has handlers. But there's a massive energy vortex because that astral entity left and it created a vacuum. So now this vacuum is like the Islam community trickling in, the Islam gods and goddesses and energies, whether they're good, it doesn't matter. But there's a vortex for new religious control to come in. There's a vortex for Prince William to come in. There's just a lot. And it's like the energies are starting to whirlpool, which is why some dark energies can make arrests. They can make arrests for tweets. They can start bringing in injustice, indecency. They can bring in confusion. They can start attacking high vibrational people. That's what that vortex created when the Queen of England passed. That is my interpretation of what I've seen over the years. Take it as it resonates. Maria agreed about the Queen. Yeah. That is why I have a hard time tapping into the royal family. Charles is not as bad because I always see him with handlers. But with that Queen, that was a whole spirit. Okay. Will Native England see their lot improved? Yes. Step by step by step, because they got to balance the energy. Prayers for England. Dear beloved England. Will Charles passing positively influence Canadian independence? And remember, Spirit says he is on the doorstep. He is on the doorstep. That's not being faked by the media. Will Charles passing positively influence Canadian independence? Sweet Canada. Queen of Wands, feminine energy. We always get feminine energy with Canada. Four of Cups. I'm hearing the words, they've already made the offer. Now, going back to Nostradamus prophecy, King Charles was declared King of the Isles, which means the people will force out the kings of the Isles, which according to the interpretation says, the implication here being that he is no longer king of the other regions in the world over which his mother, the reptilian, okay, I didn't say that, his mother reigned, Canada, Australia, New Zealand. Now, I say that about the Queen. I do feel the Queen was once a beautiful soul, okay? I do feel that about her. Canada, Australia, New Zealand, they will have in the interim become republics. That's according to the interpretation 2015. Here, the cards are saying, sweet motherland of Canada has already offered, not made the told, has already been given this opportunity. This is an opportunity card, and it can be an offer that nobody is seeing, so it's secretive. Energy for the past. A lot of energy has already occurred concerning this event of the freedom of Canada. Truth, disclosure, Queen of Swords, and future energy, Six of Pentacles. Yes, this is independence, financial stability, financial balance. The banking systems will begin to stabilize. The stock market, if you, whatever you call that, I think you do have that, whatever is in your financial institutions is going to begin to stabilize. But I'm getting, this is future energy. That energy hasn't caught up to Canada yet. But I am getting here, the documents have already been written and signed for Canada's independence, but the rest of Canada doesn't know it. It's like it's not time to reveal it or to start implementing the changes. Will Mr. T and Company be able to positively influence their direction? So I'm going to say the direction of Canada's direction. Will Mr. T and Company be able to positively influence Canada's direction? Or is Canada simply being handed over to the U.S.? Yeah, let's ask about the future of Canada. Is Canada going to become an independent republic or under another republic, such as the U.S.? The motherland is going through a tremendous timeline shift. When I say motherland, it just means that country. They're sovereign, independent. They come up as woman to me. Whenever I see a nation and their sovereign independence, it's like the ships were christened as women. They come up as a feminine energy of sovereign independence, taking care of their land, their people, the mother energy. Tower is the future of the energy. And I'm drawn to these men up top. There's some high leaders that triggered this tower, but they're not in the tower. They're not connected to the tower. So I do believe the US assisted Canada in this timeline shift it's going through right now. That's the information I have. Whatever timeline shift continues for Canada over the next few years, which does seem to be positive according to the cards, it was triggered, I believe, by some key leaders that applied a lot of pressure to Canada. I believe Mr. T took out the Queen somehow, which crumbled everything and released the Commonwealth nations to form their own republics. That's how I see it. 9 of Wands. Mr. T is her protector. It's a woman. She's protected from the sun, but she's growing her own grapes. Protector. A support during financial imbalance or financial, let's get this, some financial imbalance. Spirits wants to talk about the financial condition. How is Mr. T work? 7 of Pentacles, 9 of Cups. So now we're kind of getting into the energy of Mr. T and the tariffs. Somehow, I don't even understand this, okay? I don't even know if this makes sense, y'all. But the information is Mr. T is triggering Canada to become financially independent by imposing the tariffs upon them, which could be why some of the current leaders don't like the tariffs. But it's going to create Canada to look at their finances, their economy, their workers. Right here, 7 of Pentacles is how they do business on an internal scale, and their economy, their workers, the employees, bringing back. It's like he's triggering Canada to bring back businesses and companies back into Canada so that they can do the tariffs. It's like his imposition on them is triggering Canada into a timeline shift. They're going to need to change the way they do business because they've always done business according to the rules and the structure of the royal family. They've always done things according to the Commonwealth. This new way of doing tariffs is forcing Canada to look at their financial instability and redo their entire economy, which is going to produce a major shift. And I believe this energy of needing to redo their tariffs is going to be the premise upon which Pierre Poilievre, God willing, if it's in the stars for him, to get into office. This pressure on Canada's economy is going to shake up Canada so that they start voting differently. I hope that makes sense to you because I don't understand the whole finances of it all. You must be referring to Mr. T's offer for Canada to become the 51st state. The thing is this, according to the cards, Canada is doing the offer. It could be. I'm not gonna lie. From the energy I got from the cards was Canada reached out to sever a contract with the royal family and to come under the protection of Mr. T. He just talks about it, but I could be wrong, and I'm going to hold that space because maybe there was a mutual. He offered it and they jumped on it. I don't know, but something's very positive. And this, when I say they, I'm talking about the white hats of Canada. Does that make sense? Talking about those librarians, we should call them the librarians, that are working to free Canada of the royal family. It's almost like when Mr. T did whatever he did with the royal family, and he stripped the Queen of her power, and he started taking back the gold of the Vatican, and the white hats began sending money back to the different countries, and it began, not the Vatican, but the I apologize. The banks, the Vatican's the religious side. The banks, the gold and the silver began restoring. I believe some of the gold of England was stored in the Vatican. That's why I sometimes mix up the two, but I could be wrong. When they began stripping the royal family, it automatically produced a vacuum for Canada to redo its policies. And at that point, they either began negotiation with the president, being, okay, well, if we're not with UK, maybe we should go with the United States. It's almost like a mentality of, we need to be under somebody's authority. We need to be controlled by somebody. But what the tariffs is doing is it's triggering the people to become their own economy and their own financial independence. So yeah, I hold space there. They have a desire for something. They might have desired at some scale to be part of the US for protection purposes. And he offered it to them, or they offered it to him. I'm just going to leave that there. Will William be able to free these people unlawfully being imprisoned for harmless social media posts? My goodness. Okay, yeah. Let's go ahead and Prince William. Spirit keeps telling me, pull in a timeline for Prince William. I don't know why. I don't like making predictions, but I keep thinking of that. Will William be able to help free these people unlawfully? Justice! That's Pallas Athena right there. Justice. She's holding 3 of Swords. Justice for those being betrayed, stabbed in the back. The Empress card. Yes, this is the New England. This is the new. So this is going to be. It's going to be a year. It's going to be a year or two. But this is the past energy. So it's already begun. This is the energy of Prince William, Empress, national sovereignty, England. He cares about his land. He cares about the motherland. This is the abundance, the freedom. But he's going to have some pushback from the current legal system, 5 of Swords. But this could also be the social media posts as well. The negative social media posts. Let's continue. Page of Swords, social media, the texts, justice for those betrayed. I'm also seeing here the energy within the digital systems of the UK. So this is Queen of Pentacles, taking care of them, shifting them, freeing them. 9 of Cups. Yes, wish fulfillment. So he will be setting them free. I believe that he will be possibly even making new laws and policies concerning that in England. Justice for those betrayed. In the UK, any change that there will be a reverse immigration of all the illegals who came over the past decade. Spirit, will there be a reverse of the illegals? That was created by the vacuum of the change of power. And I believe that vacuum also happened in the US as well. The vacuum created a change of power, an attempt to control using the energy of people, just their energy coming in. It tries to shift the nation. Will there be a reverse? Thank you, Spirit. The Hierophant card, the 9 of Wands. So the past energy is coming up as a yes. A new land, a new thing. Page of Swords is the card of lying. Media, falsehood. Media. The media is lying. 6 of Wands of victory. But this is the 2 cards that came out first. The Hierophant, which is the system of immigration. This is coming up as a system. Protecting, defending. But then the media is lying about something, and there's a victory coming in. So you do have a yes. 2 of Wands, deportation. This is the getting ready to leave, being. See how she's looking at the world, but she's getting ready to pass through the portal to another country. It's not really a portal, but it can represent that. 2 of Wands. Deportation. But the media is not telling you something. I wouldn't be surprised if the UK is already getting ready to round them up or is rounding them up. The immigration is protecting or collecting, and the media is not reporting it. And you have a good victory coming in for the motherland. The yes card is the past. This yes card, yes, there will be deportations. That's already happening. They're already being collected and gathered up, but the media is not reporting it. And they will soon. You will start see them leaving the country in the future. But from the energy of the cards, it's already happening. Whew, I cannot imagine. It's crazy what has been happening in the UK and in Ireland. Please let it happen. Their own religious leaders have said that if HALAL slaughter is no longer permitted in the UK, they will leave. So I'm not familiar with that. HALAL. Is that a type of sacrifice or a religious ritual that they do? That kind needs to protect true grit Brits. Yes. Might this even begin under King C? I do believe cruel. Oh, the meat they eat. Oh, okay. Yeah, you don't have to explain it if you don't want to put any of the words in, because people can do their own research. But that's good. I'm getting ethereal world that this is already beginning, which I think your intuition is picking up on. That is the only meat they eat. Okay, I don't know why I'm pulling cards, but a message is coming in. Timeline shift. It's already, the UK is changing. I know it doesn't look like it, but Spirit says hold on just a little bit more. The energy of the past 10 years was because of that vacuum of a major entity leaving the country and everything poured in. It's like you open your windows to air out the house, but you don't have a screen, so all the bugs come in. But then if you have a cat like mine, he catches all the bugs and you shut it and your house is still aired out. So I can actually leave my house open, the windows without screens, and because my cat catches the houseflies. But sometimes the bees come in and the houseflies come in, and I have to be just realizing they're going to either die, the bees will die in a day or two, or my cat will catch the houseflies. I only have one window that doesn't have a screen, but it's my favorite window to open. So it's that kind of analogy of the houseflies came in, the bees came in, it's nasty, people are being arrested, people are eating strange meat, it produces it, and whenever you kill anything living, it produces an energy, okay? Sacrifices, or, it produces an energy, especially if it's a ritual or anything having to do with something not already established in the community. It brings in new energy. The passing away is a spiritual act. 2 of Cups, there's already negotiation to bring in the golden age. Hang in there, the UK. Hang in there. King Charles. Spirit, when is he passing, and when will King William come in? What is there a divine plan, a trajectory of events, a timeline? Rakosharianda. Spirit really wants to prophesy here. 7 months. New beginning, the Fool. First card on the deck, a new entrance, an announcement. 7 of Pentacles, this means months. It could even be, this is within 7 months. So, or the month, or it could be the 7th month. Okay, there's 2 predictions here. The 7th month of 2025, which would be July. I don't know why the energy right now is so crazy. It's just July or in 7 months. Can you confirm this? Is this summertime? Is this fall? Is this winter? Is this months, years, days? The king, the Hierophant, passed. Two of Wands. The Two of Wands is definitely the world card, the shift, the portal, the passing away, the stepping over. I'm also seeing a rose with thorns. Ace of Wands, a new beginning, a new energy coming to the UK. This is the energy of Prince William or whoever has been decreed by Spirit in the divine timing. This is a positive timing if Spirit has its way and brings in the spirit and the soul of a golden age leader. But I'm going to go on a limb, take it as it resonates, and I could be wrong. I've learned to just detach from even if I'm wrong. But in about, it's either 7 months or the month of July. Okay, I don't know why we needed to do that. Okay, which country will see the first cleanup, UK or Ireland? Crazy things happening on the Emerald Isle. Those poor true Irish women and children. Long live King William the White Hat. I just got chills. Yes, Shauna. Okay, let's see about which country will see the cleanup first, UK or Ireland. And I want to let you know, by just you and us getting together on this little live and tapping into the future of the golden age for England, for Canada, for whatever country we focus on, psychics and intuitives have said when you simply ask about the good future, you're actually producing an energetic portal for the good to come in. So when we tap into the energy of King William, it's actually bringing an energy into the earth plane to support him. Anytime you look at which is why cards have been so demonized by that early aggregate of the Church of England. Yeah, those reptilians, because if we could tap into the future, we can bring it in. And that's why I love doing this. The energy that comes in when you all ask these questions, you are actually helping as starseeds, helping the universe collect the good energy. And you are literally, don't even need to say a prayer. All we need to do is ask and come into agreement with that stream of energy, and we're bringing it in. Okay, we're asking about Ireland or the UK. Which country will see the cleanup first? Justice, okay, is already coming in, past energy. The present energy, we have 3 cards. Page of Pentacles, a little bit. 2 of Pentacles. And I'm hearing the word simultaneously. And then I'm hearing the word Ace of Swords. And I'm thinking this is connected to the shift of the king. The crown is, I'm drawn to the crown. This new energy of a king is going to shift it for Ireland, for all of the British Isles. The Hermit card. There's a divine plan and timing. So I want to pull on Ireland, please. I'm seeing that the 2 will come in simultaneously, but let's go ahead and ask. Yeah, I'm not getting an either or. I'm getting it kind of together. Ireland, what can you tell me about Ireland? The High Priestess. This is that Celtic, no, don't take me wrong when I say this, but the Celtic witch energy of light. Okay, that energy where they could connect to nature, the energy where they could hear the wind, connect to God through nature, connect to higher consciousness. This is that divine light energy. The divine light energy has been deeply manipulated and suppressed by the patriarchal age that the Church of England and the aggregate of the Church of England brought in. I'm almost getting a message. If England hadn't been so close to the energy of the royal family, they might have had a chance. But because the energy of the royal family got too engrossed, ingrained in the dark elite, it spread over and it repressed divine feminine psychic energy. where those gnomes and the fairies and the magic, the green man, green Terra, goddess green Terra, the green man, the Akashic records of the trees and nature, that beautiful divine feminine energy that pervades Ireland, that was deeply repressed because of the energy of the island next to it, which is why you're seeing woman being and children, because the energy of divine feminine is woman and children, the nurturing, creativity, connection, womb, channeling spirit beings into your body, channeling the spirit portals, spirits, souls into your body. That's feminine energy, spirit connection. That is why the women in Ireland are being repressed, and I'm not even familiar with it, but it makes sense when you see that the divine feminine being so close to that reptilian energy. We are setting the wheels in motion. Yes, we are. I saw a prediction that the next king will adopt Catholicism. The Church of E will shut down, and there will be a Catholic resurgence there and in many countries. I kind of want to do that, but I'm going to save that for another live, because there are prophecies in this book about the Church of England. So I think Spirit's saying don't get into that, but please table that question. I'm going to see if Spirit wants to go into the Church of England, the prophecies of the Church of England and its control. Will Ireland leave the EU? That may help with the White Hats to gain power there. Ireland. I really want to go to Ireland. Okay, so the first card, you just saw me shuffling. The first card was this secretive, sweet, mystical, divine energy, but it's moving. So Ireland's coming up as the High Priestess energy. Canada comes up as either the Queen of Wands or the Empress. The UK came up as they come up as woman. I just love the way Spirit works. Spirit sees a true sovereign nation as a feminine energy because they protect their children, their people, their economies. They're not about global domination. They're not about force and control, wars. They're not about controlling other people. They're all about their people. That's how Spirit represents a sovereign divine nation. They will be leaving. Look at this card, 3 of Wands. You asked, will they be leaving the EU? Yes, they are. They're already going through a tremendous death, oppression, and suppression. They're done. And they see nations coming into their independence. Look at this. A woman, 9 of Pentacles. The 9 of Pentacles is an independent woman. And in the age of the Renaissance, when these cards were made, or the Rider-Waite deck was made, an independent woman was so rare. But she had her own wealth. She had her own inheritance. She had her father's castle. She was not married. She was independent. And this card represents a woman who could not be controlled. So Ireland will, despite the oppression she has faced, is finally coming into her sovereign independence. She will be leaving, and if not already is attempting to leave. 3 of Wands, travel. Look at the ship, travel. But she's not telling anybody. She's not telling anybody. She's afraid of the repercussions on the world stage. When you said, what an Irish looking image, is it this 9 of Pentacles or the 3 of Wands? Maybe it's the High Priestess. Anyway, yeah, she's not telling anybody her plans. The 9 of Pentacles, yes. Yeah, a beautiful independent. Look at the castle, the bridge, the water, the trees. Beautiful card. But she's not telling anybody her plans. I think she is a little terrified to break away from the energy of the royal family with all the change that's going in, and then also to do the EU. Yeah, I think that they're definitely looking for support. They're going through a tremendous death and rebirth, and we send them all the love. The remote viewers have said that the Church of England was even trying to find a way to eliminate God from its philosophy. Yeah. I mean, when the Church of England is kind of in league with the royal family, who is slightly lizard-looking, that doesn't make sense. The women there are being Sacrifice to the illegal newcomers. Interesting. The Church of E is dark. Yeah, Ireland is already leaving the EU. They're breaking away from the energy, the aggregate of the royal family. I did not know the women in Ireland were dealing with this. I, having come from a lineage of breaking out of suppression of women that's beautiful, I send them all the love in the world. Yes, we all need to go to Ireland, the children too. Absolutely, absolutely. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining me today. I borrowed this book from my friend. I might do a few more prophecies in there. I'm going to write me a note, Church of England, if that's all something that you want to look at. We could also do the U.S. I see Africa, I see the U.S., I see England in here. Crisis in the Roman Catholic Church 2056. So it sounds like there's still some churches and religions coming up. I was hoping that the church would end. But that's the Catholic Church, so maybe there is a shift in power, like it's predicted. All right, and it's not only Ireland, it's happening all over the UK. Can you check into the future of Catholicism according to Nostradamus? Let me go ahead and see in the future of Islam. I'm going to do Church of England, Catholicism. Yeah, I'm going to write this down, and Islam. I'm going to write this down and go into Nostradamus, and we'll do another live possibly next Saturday. Do you like Saturday better, or do you like Sunday at 11? We'll see there. I used to do the lives at Sunday 11. If you all have an opinion, go ahead and share with me. It doesn't mean that I can commit to it, but Sunday at 11 a.m. or Saturday at 6 p.m. I actually like the Saturday mornings because then I can do my door dashing on Sundays, and Saturday nights and Sundays are my best day to work and make money. So we'll see. Thank you every Sunday. Okay. It's the only day so far that I got the notification when you started and not after you've been online for an hour. That's a sign from Spirit. It's saying, Ruth, you want to work on Saturday night, you need to do what you need to do. And I do like Sundays. I do like Sundays. I do think the angels are active Sunday morning at 11 because everybody's going to church and praying. And even if it's a religious thing, it's still honored by the spirit realm. The Lord's Day. That's right. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. I have your notes, Church of England, Catholicism, Islam. I do believe there's a prediction coming in that religion is going to fall. I think it already is falling, but some sort of religion, the religious hierarchy of control, that energy is definitely going to be falling. So I will look at the entities, what they're going through, and the hierarchies of religion to help bring in the golden age of spirituality and ascension. Until next time, thank you. Bye.